From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. As summer heats up, so too does the water across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, which is a key ingredient for tropical storms during hurricane season. But more than warm water is needed to spin up a storm, including one of the biggest players in global weather patterns. The Atlantic Basin remains quiet for now, while the Pacific Basin has already produced several powerful storms this season. The contrast between the two oceans largely reflects the current global weather pattern, with strengthening El Niño conditions favoring more tropical activity in the Pacific than the Atlantic. Often, El Niño leads to reduced activity over the Atlantic waters due to more frequent periods of disruptive winds, known as wind shear. Now, wind shear, or changes in wind speed and direction with height in the atmosphere, plays a critical role in tropical development. Strong wind shear can disrupt a storm's structure and prevent it from strengthening. Now, in contrast, weaker wind shear allows storms to organize and intensify, provided other favorable conditions are also in place. Now, that is exactly the pattern unfolding across the Atlantic, where wind shear and dry Saharan air have kept the basin largely quiet despite otherwise favorable ocean conditions. At this point in the season, it is not entirely unusual to have a lull in tropical activity across the Atlantic waters. On average, the second named storm of the Atlantic season forms around July 17th. The second half of the month may be more active than recent weeks, though. One ingredient the Atlantic is not lacking is warm water. Sea surface temperatures across the basin remain above the historical average, providing ample fuel for tropical systems. AccuWeather lead hurricane forecaster Alex De Silva highlighted very warm Atlantic sea surface temperatures, especially along the U.S., can allow tropical storms and hurricanes to develop and rapidly intensify much closer to the U.S. coastline. As a result, residents may have significantly less time to prepare than they would if storms formed near Africa and tracked across the Atlantic. He added that it will be especially important to closely monitor every tropical wave this season. Some tropical waves may remain disorganized while crossing the Atlantic, only to develop and intensify once they reach the exceptionally warm waters near the U.S. AccuWeather hurricane experts have highlighted a zone well off the coast of Mexico in the eastern Pacific Ocean as a medium-risk area for development around mid-July. Another area of tropical development has been highlighted south of Hawaii in mid-July. If development does occur in either of those areas, forecasters expect limited, if any, direct impacts to land. Sea surface temperatures are plenty warm enough to support development in the East Pacific Basin, and wind shear levels are expected to decrease in mid-July. Over the last week, two potent storms developed over the western Pacific waters, one of which is still leaving a path of destruction. Typhoon Bobby peaked with 10-minute sustained winds of 127 miles per hour and gusts up to 178 miles per hour as it approached Guam and Saipan, equivalent to a high-end Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. As it crossed Guam and made a direct impact, more than 1 foot of rainfall has been observed so far, with hurricane-force wind gusts. Bobby will continue tracking toward the northwest over the coming days before approaching Taiwan and China. That's all for now. You can find regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com, and for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the free AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay weather aware, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.